सोचा कि मैं कोई बिजनेस स्टार्ट करूँगी. मुझे खाने का बहुत शौक था.
अच्छा.
So खाना पकाना, खाना खिलाना, रेस्टोरेंट्स जाना, ये सारा कुछ बहुत हमें पसंद था. So I thought I'd get into the food business.
Okay.
And of course, being Indian, I originally started out doing Indian food.
Great.
But I had this really long connection to Morocco. I've been married there, and I have, my husband's family lived there for a long time. So I also loved Moroccan food.
Oh.
So when I was thinking about business and I was thinking about having a restaurant that was different, I decided to lean more towards Morocco. Because even in the US, there were not a lot of Moroccan restaurants 15 years ago, and even now there are not a lot of Moroccan restaurants.
Okay.
So the idea was to have a differentiating factor and introduce a new cuisine and culture to the country.
Okay. So you married there in Morocco?
Yeah. So
what's your story?
What's my story? My story is very interesting.
Oh.
I went to Morocco on vacation a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. And through some chance accidents, I ended up meeting a young man there that we kind of madly fell in love with. But he's not Moroccan.
Okay.
He's originally from Pakistan.
Oh. Great combo.
Yes, we're sort of the Veer Zara of America.
Okay.
So his family, most of their life lived in France.
Okay.
So he was in Morocco doing some business, and मैं उधर थी vacation पे और मेरे husband उधर आए हुए थे business पे. तो हमारी बस chance meeting हुई और 2 महीने में शादी हो गई.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was about 20 years ago. So we've now been married 20 years, and we have 2 children, 2 beautiful daughters, Zoya, who's 12, and Suha, who's 11. And so that's our Moroccan connection. My husband's family was there. बहुत साल वो लोग वहाँ पे रहे हैं, बहुत काम किया है, फिल्म प्रोडक्शन का काम करते थे वहाँ पे वो. तो उनका भी बॉलीवुड से बहुत ज़्यादा कनेक्शन था.
अच्छा.
क्योंकि जो बॉलीवुड के फिल्म प्रोडक्शंस होते थे, they were responsible for that in Morocco.
Okay.
So that's sort of our love story. And after about a year of our getting married, I spent that first year in Morocco.
Okay.
We decided to move to New York, which was my hometown.
Okay.
I was based in New York. And then he wrapped up his business and moved to New York with me.
Okay. So మీరు తారా కిచెన్ అని నేమ్ పెట్టారు కదా. Is there any specification for that?
Yeah, Tara means a star, right?
Yeah.
And my minor in college was astronomy.
Okay.
Because I love planets and astronomy and all things celestials. And especially in America, I wanted to have a name that connected to my roots,
Okay.
but also was easy for the Americans to understand, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
So I wanted a name that would not only be reflective ke mera culture and mera heritage, but also something that the American people could also understand and relate
They can
to.
connect.
Yeah, they could connect to. So that's where Tara comes from.
Great. Then and coming to India, Hyderabad, Jubileehills.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
it started, right?
Yeah.
Tara Kitchen has started. So there are many other restaurants too in Hyderabad. So what is the difference between
Yeah.
Tara Kitchen and many other
Yeah,
restaurants in Hyderabad?
so our biggest differentiating factor, I think, is that we do really true, authentic Moroccan food. I've been cooking this food for 15 years. I've written a cookbook about it. I have a line of cooking sauces that we sell in New York and actually through the US. And the food of Morocco is a combination of Mediterranean, Southern Africa, the Middle East, and of course India. A lot of the spices used in Moroccan food, very, very similar to Indian spices like haldi, zira. Zira is very, very prominent in Moroccan food.
Okay.
Cumin. And then coriander. So what was interesting for me जब मैं पहले सीख रही थी Moroccan food पकाने के लिए कि how they were using the ingredients I knew,
Okay.
but in a different way.
Okay.
Right. So जब आप American खाना खाते हो या European खाना खाते हो, they are just making different food with different ingredients.
Yeah.
So it's in some ways it's easy to relate because it's just different. right? But with the Moroccan food, it took me a while to understand the nuances of the food and why it's different from Indian. And जब मैंने पहले Moroccan food पकाना खुद से सीखा था, हमारे घर में मोरक्को में हमारे घर में एक लड़की काम करती थी जो मुझे सिखाती थी तजीन किस तरह बनाते हैं. तो मैं देखती थी सारा कुछ, और फिर जब मैं पकाती थी तो it always used to taste like curry. Okay. And I used to always say, but I did the same thing. And my husband said, no, you didn't do the same thing. So मुझे थोड़ा time लगा, right, to untrain myself from cooking from cooking Indian food. But once I started to do that, I think we understood, the differences and the nuances, and I think that's what we are going to try and bring to Hyderabad.
Okay. So ఇక్కడ హైదరాబాద్లో మొరాకన్ క్విజిన్ మీరు స్టార్ట్ చేశారు కదా. ఐ థింక్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ రెస్టారెంట్ మీరు చెప్పినట్టుగా. సో మొరాకన్ క్విజిన్లో మీరు ఏదైనా ఫ్యూజన్ని యాడ్ చేస్తున్నారా లేదా ఓన్లీ అథెంటిక్ మొరాకన్?
No. There is no way to do anything authentic outside of a country, right? So if you go to America and you eat Indian food, you will say this is Indian fusion. Correct?
Yeah.
So once you take the food outside its country, it's hard to maintain that authenticity that you would find in the country, because when I'm cooking, I'm adding my life experiences to it. For example, when we were trying out all of our recipes here, the tomatoes taste different, the chicken tastes different, the eggplant, the brinjal, like everything.
Okay.
So all of those factors are going to affect how the food is. But that's one factor. उसके बाद naturally, क्योंकि मैं इंडियन हूँ और क्योंकि मैं इंडिया में हूँ और क्योंकि मैं अमेरिकन भी हूँ और मैं अमेरिका में भी हूँ, उस खाने को मैंने इस तरह पकाया है या इस तरह बनाया है कि उस कम्युनिटी के लिए है. सो वो थोड़ा बहुत यहाँ पे भी आएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हमने हमारे मेन्यू पे रखा है गुंटूर चिकन, बट इट्स गोइंग टू बी ए तजीन. So it's going to be Moroccan style Guntur chicken, because actually my origin is from Guntur.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring home something of my I'm actually very, very much of an Indian at heart. Don't ask me why I married a Pakistani, but
क्योंकि you just born here, but you completely brought up everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, Bollywood is a documentary.
Okay. Great then. So మీరు తారా కిచెన్ ని స్టార్ట్ చేయడానికి, I mean in Hyderabad, సో ఎంత టైం పట్టింది? ఏదైనా బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ వర్క్ ఏదైనా చేశారా?
हमने इंडिया में रेस्टोरेंट खोलने का सोचा था 2021 में. एक्चुअली ड्यूरिंग द पेंडेमिक हमने सोचा था कि पेंडेमिक की वजह से काफ़ी लाइफ में चेंज आ चुकी थी. अब you started to actually think about the world in a much more global sense than even before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to me to see a lot of stuff happening in India during the pandemic, and because there was so much content coming out of India, I really started to think, well, maybe this is one way I can go back home, right?
Okay.
Like I come back home to my roots and bring this culture and cuisine. So the seed of this was planted, I would say, in 2021, and then I spent about 2022 the full year doing research.
Okay.
So I traveled to India multiple times, and the New York State government has an office actually in Delhi.
Okay.
So their Delhi office connected with me, and we did a lot of research about demographics and the likes and dislikes of people, and financial growth, economic growth, all of that stuff, to really understand the feasibility. So we probably did a feasibility study for about a year.
Okay.
And then once we decided as a company and as a family that we were going to introduce our brand and Moroccan cuisine to India, we started looking for a location in Hyderabad, I would say, in about January of 2023, this year.
Okay.
It took a good 8 months to find a location, and then after that, I would say about 3 months for our renovation work and for our logistics and all of those kinds of things. But I have to tell you, it was monumental. And it was very, very huge, and I'm extremely grateful for thousands and thousands of people who have helped me.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it's I would say so. It's basically a three-year journey, I would say.
Okay. సో నేను చెక్ చేశాను, అంటే నేను మీ రెస్టారెంట్లో ఎంటర్ అయిన తర్వాత నాకు అంబియన్స్ అయితే చాలా బాగా నచ్చింది. సో ఇదంతా ఎవరు ప్లాన్ చేశారు? సో ఈస్ దేర్ ఎనీ పర్సన్ బిహైండ్ దిస్?
So I am basically the designer.
Great.
I've designed all of my restaurants, and usually people tell me you're good at cooking. Why don't you just do that? But I am a true artist at heart. So if there is going to be any kind of color and fun, I have to go play.
And I was just seeing the paintings and all, everything was so cool and good. A pleasant feeling vastundi raagane. So cool ga. I mean, like for couples, like when they enter here, that romantic.
So interestingly enough, I think maybe it's just we exude romance. We are sort of known as the restaurant of love because my husband and I have this really long extended love story.
You have connection with love.
We have connection, and we are routinely named most romantic restaurants in New York. Routinely, pretty much every year. Valentine's Day is the biggest day in restaurants for us because काफी restaurants में होता है ना कि Christmas बड़ा हो गया या Thanksgiving बड़ा हो गया या जो भी है, हमारे लिए जो सबसे बड़ा holiday हमारे restaurants के लिए होता है वो होता है Valentine's Day, and it's booked years in advance, So yeah, we love, so I think it shows.
అనిసా గారు, మీకు మొరాకన్ క్విజిన్ లో బాగా నచ్చిన డిష్ ఏదైనా ఉందా? యువర్ ఫేవరెట్ వన్?
Okay. My favorite dish, I think, जिसकी वजह से मुझे Moroccan food से प्यार हो गया, is the lamb kefta tagine with poached eggs.
Okay.
So it's actually a very, very, very classic Moroccan dish. It's made with lamb meatballs, and you cook it in a tomato sauce, and then you poach eggs into the sauce.
Okay.
So I ate something like that for the first time only in Morocco, and I love eggs, I love lamb, I love sauce, and to this day when I eat it, it feels like comfort to me. For me, that's like eating khichdi.
Okay.
Right? In Indian food, अगर आप comfort food कहोगे तो खिचड़ी होगा ना?
हाँ,
तो उसी तरह मेरे लिए Moroccan food में is lamb meatballs.
अच्छा, तो हैदराबाद में क्या पसंद है आपको?
सब कुछ पसंद है.
सब कुछ पसंद है. Any particular food that you love?
When I come to Hyderabad and my cousins get sick of me and my family gets sick of me because when I come to India and I come to Hyderabad, I only want to eat vegetables. Because you don't see these vegetables in US.
Okay.
So like drumsticks or sitafal. Like right now I've been overdosing on sitafal because I'm just like, it's here. So I love the fruits and vegetables. I love sambar. I love roti and bhindi. That's like very, very. I love the home food.
Basic home food.
Pani puri. मैं रोज pani puri खाती हूँ.
That's a great thing.
About 26 pani puris a day is a must for me.
Great. High five.
The guy near my apartment knows me. वो मुझे देखता है तो उसको पता है मुझे किस तरह अच्छा लगता है and वो ready करता है.
So final question.
Yeah.
There are many people who wants to start the food business, like youngsters.
Yeah.
So आप क्या suggestions और inputs दे सकते हो उसको?
मैं यही कहूँगी कि बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए, कोई भी बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए, द नंबर वन थिंग यू हैव टू डू इज रिसर्च, राइट? सो अगर आपने स्पेशली फूड का बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना है तो आपको ये रिसर्च करना है कि किधर करना है, कैसे करना है, उधर की कम्युनिटी कैसी है, उस कम्युनिटी में इस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है या नहीं है, और अगर मैं ये चीज़ करूँगी तो फिर इसमें कितना पैसा लगेगा, और अगर इतना पैसा लगेगा तो इतना पैसा वापस कैसे आएगा. सो like for example, to open India, it took us 3 years, right? But when people look at us, they say, oh, you signed the lease in September and you opened in December. Like, how did that happen, right? But it didn't happen like that. We were researching India since 2021. So it took a 3-year journey of learning and research. So I'm not suggesting that every entrepreneur go through a 3-year journey. Obviously, it took me a long time because I'm doing this from the US and I own restaurants in the US and all that stuff. मगर अगर आप start करना चाह रहे हैं कोई भी business, कोई भी बिजनेस, आपका फर्स्ट गोल ये होना चाहिए कि उस बिजनेस को आप पूरी तरीके से स्टडी करो और उसके बारे में हर चीज़ जानो. And the most important thing you should understand about your industry is why someone in that industry fails. Okay? More important than understanding why somebody succeeds, it's important to understand why somebody fails. Because if you understand why they fail, you won't make those mistakes, or at least you'll try not to make those mistakes. So I feel you should always work backwards of your problem. So understand कि अगर मैं ये रेस्टोरेंट खोलूँगी और कोई भी नहीं आएगा और मुझे किसी को भी अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, that's a failure, right?
Yeah.
So उस failure से अगर आप शुरू करोगे तो फिर how do you work backwards? That's how you avoid the failure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is.
Call me if it doesn't.
It is. Anyways, we really excited to taste the food actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, finally.
Yes, and I just
Tara Kitchen in Hyderabad and
Yes.
Moroccan Cuisine in Hyderabad, so we can taste the Moroccan cuisine here.
I am so excited. 30 years after I left, I'm back, and this feels like such a beautiful homecoming for me. And people have been amazing and helpful and kind and generous with their time, their knowledge, their attention. This is why I want to be in India.
And once again, congratulations.
Thank you so
for Tara
much.
Kitchen.
Thank you, thank
And
you, thank you.
I wish good luck. You have to open so many branches
Yes,
in India and some other countries as well.
Yes, yes.
సో చూసారు కదా తారా కిచెన్ గురించి అనిసా గారు ఏం చెప్పారో. సో చాలా ఇన్స్పైరింగ్గా ఉంది కదా. సో ఇది వాటి ఇంటర్వ్యూ. సో మనం ఇంకా ముందు వెళ్ళి చూద్దాం, అసలు రెస్టారెంట్ గురించి మీకు అంతా చెప్తాను, లోపలికి వెళ్ళి చూద్దాం అసలు ఎలా ఉంది ఏంటి అని. వెళ్ళిపోదాం. సో మనం ఇప్పుడు తారా కిచెన్ లోపలికి వెళ్దాం, అసలు ఎలా ఉంది ఏంటి అనేది నేను మీకు చెప్తాను. సో స్టార్టింగ్ రాగానే నాకు ఇలా వెల్కమ్ డ్రింక్ అండ్ డేట్స్ ఫిల్డ్ విత్ కాజు, అండ్ ఇది వీళ్ళ వెల్కమ్ అథెంటిక్ మొరాకన్ స్టైల్లో వీళ్ళు వెల్కమ్ చెప్తున్నారు. సో ఇదే అనమాట స్టార్టింగ్ అయితే ఇలా ఉంది. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ బాదం డ్రింక్. సో ఇది బాదం డ్రింక్. సో విల్ టేస్ట్ ఇట్. సో ఇట్స్ సో టేస్టీ.
What do you think? It's good.
So
right?
good.
I know.
సో చూసారు కదా, అంబియన్స్ అంతా ఇలా రోజ్ పెటల్స్ తోటి ఉంది. బేసిక్గా మొరకిన్ వాళ్ళకి ఇట్లా రోజ్ పెటల్స్ ఇలా ఉంటే చాలా ఇష్టం అంట. సో ఎవ్రీవేర్ రెస్టారెంట్లో మనం ఎక్కడ చూసినా కూడా మనకి రోజ్ పెటల్సే కనిపిస్తున్నాయి. ఇది మొరకన్ స్టైల్లో వీళ్ళు వేసుకొని ట్రెడిషనల్ డ్రెస్సెస్ అంట. సో ఇక్కడ వీళ్ళందరూ అన్నీ కూడా మొరకన్ క్విజిన్ కాబట్టి ఇండియాలోనే ఫస్ట్ టైం వీళ్ళు దీన్ని ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో చాలా అథెంటిక్గా వీళ్ళ కాస్ట్యూమ్స్ అవ్వనివ్వండి, వీళ్ళు యూజ్ చేసే యాక్సెసరీస్ కానివ్వండి, డ్రెస్సెస్ కానివ్వండి, వీళ్ళు ఇక్కడ ప్లేస్ చేశారు. మనం చూసుకోవచ్చు అంబియన్స్ కూడా డిమ్ లైట్స్ తోటి చాలా బాగుంది, చాలా స్పేషియస్గా చాలా బాగుంది అంబియన్స్ చూసుకుంటే. మనం ఇంకా చూడొచ్చు ముందుకెళ్ళి. సో ఈరోజు తారా కిచెన్ లాంచ్ అయింది కదా. సో ఈరోజు తారా కిచెన్ అంబాసిడర్ మనతో పాటు ఉన్నారు. ఆయనతో మాట్లాడదాం అసలు ఎలా అనిపించింది ఏంటి అని. హలో సార్, హౌ ఆర్ యూ?
Very good, thank you.
Sir, how is Hyderabad and how are you feeling here?
This is not the first time I come to Hyderabad. It's a nice place, nice food, nice people. A little bit of more traffic I can understand, but otherwise I like the people here, and then the traditions they like to enjoy life, and then that's all about the food and then the visits and tourism in Hyderabad.
Sir, since how long you have been here? I mean, like in India?
I've been for 7 years so far.
Okay.
So I've traveled extensively. I've seen places, many cities, many states, and then Hyderabad is one of the cities I like, honestly.
Okay. So, anything about Tara Kitchen? How was the food here?
You see, Tara Kitchen has a very good success story which started in the United States. She has restaurants and in New York and elsewhere. And then the Moroccan cuisine is also known worldwide. They say it's one among the top 5 cuisines. Some people would say among the top 3. But whatever it is a cuisine which accommodates all tastes, including the Indian taste. And I'm so happy that the ambition of Chef Anissa is to open few restaurants in India, and then starting from her hometown, which is Hyderabad, where we are having today the launching of the official ceremony of the first Stara kitchen in Hyderabad. I wish her success. I have tasted also the food. It has quite a lot from Morocco. It also adapted to the taste of Indian, and that's how all cultures are. Morocco is an old nation. India is also a very old culture and heritage. And then when these two cultures meet and melt, they produce miracles. So I'm expecting miracles in this restaurant for the future.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, thank you, sir.
మరిన్ని వీడియోస్ కోసం ఛానల్ ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, లేటెస్ట్ అప్డేట్స్ కోసం వాట్సాప్ ఛానల్ ని ఫాలో చేయండి అండ్ లింక్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ లో ఉంది.